This is Cliff Broadway, Quick Beam from theonering.net. We're here to say fond farewell to a really wonderful performer and an actor who has his roots in the American cultural history of The Lord of the Rings. Mr. David Carradine was very, very much known as a fan of Tolkien. There was his work as Kwai Chang Caine in that Eternal television series from the 70s, Kung Fu. I grew up watching David Carradine on American television and his earliest show, Kung Fu. When did you first encounter David's work?
That's the same time watching on Australian television. Kung Fu is a great TV show. I loved it.
Totally enjoyed the program. I was a young lad. And I thought he played the part excellent. Yeah, thoroughly enjoyed it. Good memories of watching that as a young boy at home.
Do you remember David Carradine from the Quentin Tarantino films or from Kung Fu?
From the Quentin Tarantino films, yeah. I was really, really sad to hear anybody pass away like that, much less a star that's well respected and, you know, has a big history and so many people look up to him. So you never know when somebody's holding something deep inside and how people are going to pass away, so it's very sad.
Mr. Carradine comes from a family dynasty of performers and actors. His father was the great John Carradine, who, you know, we all know from the Cecil B. DeMille classic, The Ten Commandments. He played Aaron opposite Chuck Heston. His brother, Keith Carradine, won an Oscar for writing a song in Nashville, that Robert Altman classic. Mr. David Carradine was very, very much known as a fan of Tolkien. He experienced Tolkien, the very first wave of fandom that came to this country. There was so much going on in the 60s and 70s, and David was right there in the middle of it. He was going to play Aragorn in the Ralph Bakshi film. At least he wanted to. He really wanted to play that part for Mr. Bakshi, and it was something that would have been really fantastic if it had actually come to pass.
I found out reading the trades that MGM had purchased the rights to it. And I found somebody to call up at MGM, say I wanted to be in it. And they said, well, it's a cartoon. And I was mortified at that idea because the Lord of the Rings is not a cartoon. That's just all there is to it. And so I found out Ralph Bakshi was doing it. I was a big fan of Ralph Bakshi. And I went there, and he showed me everything he was doing, which was to say, what he was doing was he was shooting the movie, live action, and then translating it to a cartoon.
The only thing that we're left with now is, you know, our memories of Mr. Carradine and the thoughts of what might have been. I like to speculate that there could have been a place for David in Guillermo's new Hobbit films. Maybe with all that material they need to put in for the history of Middle-earth, we could have had a beautiful flashback with a baby Aragorn, who's just a young boy, having a scene with his father, Arathorn, played by David Carradine. That really would have been awesome, to have him pass the legacy to his son and a great destiny for his own son. That would have been brilliant. But, you know, I have to contain my thoughts and remember the power and beautiful work that Mr. Carradine left us with, and we say farewell, sadly, to a great Ringer fan.